everybody, my name is Antje and today I'll be doing the mid-year book freakout tag. The first question is, what was your favorite book so far? And I'll go with The Sun Does Shine by Anthony Ray Hinton. And in his memoir or autobiography, he tells the story of how he was innocently sent to death row for 30 years before he came out. And he was accused of multiple murders. And even when he was being taken in by the police and he told them he was innocent, I think they answered something along the lines of, "Oh yeah, we know you're innocent, but you're a black man, so you'll just have to deal with it." And what I found really extraordinary or moving was how loving Ray still talks about all these people that did him wrong, who caused him to sit on death row for 30 years and whose main goal was to keep him there no matter whether they were convinced of his innocence or not, and just how he is able to forgive these people, what for great friends and family he has, people who really supported him until they died or he got free, depending on. And I think Anthony Ray is a really inspirational character, and just talking about this book right now, I'm getting goosebumps just because I think he is someone we should all aspire to be. The next question is, what was the best sequel you've read so far this year? And I did read a couple of sequels, but none of them really stuck with me. What did stick with me was The Beauty of Darkness by Mary E. Pearson. And this is a reread. I think I read it back in 2018, but I read it again this year and I still loved it. And the first book in the series is about Leah, who is a princess who runs away from home because she's supposed to marry a prince from a different kingdom whom she's never met before, and she hides in this little coastal town, and then suddenly two guys turn up and start fighting for her favor, and what she doesn't know is that one is the prince and the other is an assassin sent out to kill her, and neither she nor we know who's who. The next question is, what is a new release you haven't read yet? And I don't really keep up to date with new releases, but there is one I saw a couple of days ago, which is We Ride Upon Sticks by Quan Berry. And it obviously has something to do with field hockey, and it takes place in Salem, so there's also something to do with witch trials. And I just think the cover is pretty and I'm intrigued. It might be a middle grade, I'm unsure. We'll see. The next question is, what is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year? And I actually have a book I'm really looking forward to, and that is Transcendent Kingdom by Ya Jesse. And Ya Jesse is the author of Homegoing, which I really loved. And in Transcendent Kingdom, you follow a family from Ghana who emigrates to Canada, and the different family members struggle with, I think, drug addiction, depression, and what was it still? I think poverty. And seeing as I loved Homegoing so much, I think I really enjoy Ya Jesse's next book, and I think it'll be out in September or something, but I'm not sure. The next question is, what was your biggest disappointment so far? And my biggest disappointment is The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang. So this might be totally my own fault, but I assumed that The Kiss Quotient was a fluffy romance novel. It won the Goodreads Award for Best Romance back in 2018 or 17, and the cover looks cute. But what it actually is porn. And I didn't know that going in, I didn't expect it, I wasn't in the mood for it. I really just wanted to read a fluffy romance novel. I just wasn't in that headspace, and instead I got, well, as I said, porn. And there was a bit of romance at the side, but that was more alibi-wayish. I don't know, how do you say it? I was pissed. I went to the Goodreads page after I finished the book. I should have DNF'd it. I saw I should maybe have read through the different comments and reviews. I might have been forewarned and may not have picked up this book. Well, life, it's the biggest disappointment. The biggest surprise is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I've heard Colleen Hoover's name being thrown around quite a few times before, but I always thought that she wrote fluffy, cute romance books, and but there was this hype about It Ends With Us, about it being so emotional, heartfelt, and tackling really big, dark problems. So I decided to give it a try. I ended up crying my eyes out, like really ugly crying. I'm glad I wasn't in the train or that my partner wasn't home, because that would have been really, really embarrassing. Anyway, what is the story about? It's about Lily, who meets Ryle on the top of a roof of a big apartment building, and they start playing a game of truth where they start, well, telling each other's truths. They go apart thinking they'll never meet again, but of course they do, and they fall in love, and their relationship develops from there. And then you still have a second timeline that follows Lily when she's, I think, 15, 16, 17-ish, and she falls in love with a homeless boy called Atlas, who helps her through her family situation because there is domestic abuse going on there. And exactly that is just kind of well, no, it's not interwoven, it's kind of parallel. Obviously, trigger warning for domestic abuse, but yeah, it wasn't a fluffy romance. I'm glad it wasn't, but it emotionally wrecked me, and I don't think I can take such a book a second time this year. I might pick up Colleen Hoover again at some point, but right now I still have to kind of, yeah, clear my head. Just thinking back to this book, it's too much. I don't really have an answer for the next two questions. The one is, who's your new favorite author? I did read quite a few books so far, but I didn't find a new author that I didn't know before, or one that I would say I'd read another book by them just because they published it. And the other question is, who is your newest fictional crush? I thought long and hard about this, couldn't think of anyone, so obviously I don't have one. Question number 9 is, who's your new favorite fictional character? And for me that would be Mark Watney from The Martian. The Martian is, probably everyone knows what it's about, but it's about a Mars trip where a scientist is accidentally left behind because his crew members think he's dead, and he has to survive on, I think, 90 days of rations for the next 3 years until the next mission comes by to send the next round of scientists. And he just has to kind of make do with what he has, improvise, learn new things. And he, I think this is written in log, yeah, it's in log entries. And his sense of humor, I really liked it. It was very nerdy, it was very childish at times, but the optimism of his character really was uplifting in such a actually depressing setting. So I'll have to go with Mark Watney. Question number 10 is, what book made you cry? And as I said before, It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover made me ugly cry, and I don't think another book brought me to that point, so I'm just going to go with that. The next question after that is, what is a book that made you happy? And I have to go with Dear Girls by Ali Wong. So I watched Ali Wong's Cobra Baby special on Netflix, and I didn't enjoy it. I think making penis, vagina and sex jokes is kind of a cheap way to get laughs, so I didn't finish it. But seeing as her book, I think it also won a Goodreads award 2019, maybe again 2018, and the audiobook was for free on Spotify, so I picked it up, and I really enjoyed the audiobook. So again, many penis, vagina and sex jokes. Again, I think it's cheap, but there was a lot of more mature, more complex humor and more social commentary. And Ali Wong also read the audiobook herself, which I really enjoyed. The second to last question is, what is the most beautiful book you bought this year or you received? I'm going to cheat on this one because I'm going to show you a book I got for Christmas last year, which is Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. I think I'm going to go with this one because on the one hand it's pretty, and on the other I only just read it a couple of weeks ago, so I say it's good for 2020. Last question is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? So I don't do TBRs. My Reading Rush TBR is the first time I've done one because I just don't believe in them. I want to read what I'm in the mood for, and just because I'm in the mood for one book today doesn't mean I'm in the mood to read it anytime ever again. But I have one book that I'm very guilty for not having picked up yet so far, and that is Invisible Women by Caroline Criado Perez. It's, what's the undertitle? It's Exposing Data Bias in a World Designed for Men, and I think she talks about different numbers and facts about how women aren't really taken into consideration when new products are designed or a new medication is brought to the market. I think a lot of the testing is only done on men, on white men to be exact, and she just brings out a couple of numbers, and I've only heard positive things about this book. I bought it a couple of months ago. I want to pick it up. I want to have read it by the end of December, also so that I can hand it on to the other women in my family. Yeah, I've got to read this. As I said, don't believe in TBRs. In general, that's why this is the only book I'm mentioning. I don't want to put pressure on myself when I know I'm going to fail anyway. That was it for now. That was my mid-year book freak out tag for 2020. I'm very surprised by how many books I managed to read. Well, I'm not COVID, and being so privileged that I can just sit on my ass at home and read made it possible. I'm very happy with how many good books I've read so far this year. I think I've got 7 or 8 5-star books on my Goodreads shelf right now. I hope you have a lovely week, and next week you will be seeing my Reading Rush wrap up. Bye!